In this video, I'll be showing you step by step how to produce ginger powder using the things you already have in your kitchen. You could use fresh ginger roots in your cooking to enjoy the health benefits and the sweet taste it gives to food. But ginger can also be used as a powder, which removes the stress of peeling the skin every time you need to use it. And the good news is you don't have to buy already made ginger powder anymore. You could easily make your powder in your house even if you don't have any dehydrator, oven or air fryer. And along the way, I'll also be sharing why you should make your ginger powder yourself at home and the mistakes to avoid when making ginger powder so as to preserve the beneficial compounds in the fresh ginger. But first, have you subscribed to Dehydrator yet? We help you make the right decision about what to eat and how to eat for good health by sharing scientifically accurate food tips and facts. Kindly subscribe now and turn on the notification bell so you will know whenever we upload a new video. And remember to drop us a like. Okay, let's get back. Making ginger powder is pretty simple and straightforward, and I'll be showing you how to make yours in 5 steps. The first step in the process is getting fresh ginger roots. You could choose to buy a new batch of fresh ginger roots, or you could use the ones you already have at home. Just make sure you avoid using ginger roots that have become old or those that are showing signs of drying. You want to use ginger that is firm and plump, except you want to make the ginger powder with the skin intact, as some actually do. In that case, you would need to dry the ginger as a whole, but you should know that this takes longer to dry. Also, you want to avoid ginger roots that are already showing signs of spoiling, such as this. It's best not to use ginger that's already showing this sign of spoilage so that the powder will be of high quality. And this is one of the reasons why you should make your ginger powder at home. This way, you get to store ginger for longer and prevent it from spoiling. Also, by making it yourself, you can ensure that you use only good roots, thereby ensuring good quality of the powder. The next step now is peeling. This video is about making ginger powder without the skin, so we'll be peeling off the skin. There are different options of what you can use to peel the skin, but I usually use either knife or spoon. And the process can take a little time depending on the quantity of ginger you want to use. So I did a little experiment to help determine which is the faster at peeling garlic, knife or spoon. To do that, I selected 2 roots that look almost the same size. Then I peeled one with a knife and peeled the other with a spoon. In the end, the knife took about 1 minute and 56 seconds, while the spoon took about 1 minute and 4 seconds. So the spoon seems to be faster. Although this is a personal experiment and a personal preference, it doesn't mean that spoon will be faster for everyone. It just means that I find using spoon to be easier and faster. Anyways, just peel all the ginger you want to use. When you're done, let's go on to the next step. And the next step is slicing. But before you start slicing, you should wash the ginger to remove the dirt from it. You can simply pour water into a bowl, then put the peeled ginger root in it and rub with your hand to remove the dirt. You can do this as much as you want, just ensure that the roots are properly cleaned. Now you can begin slicing with a knife. When slicing, ensure that you are making it as thin as possible. This will ensure that the ginger dries faster. When you slice the ginger thinly, the surface area increases, and this allows for more even and efficient drying, which also helps to preserve the beneficial compounds found in ginger. Also, when slicing, ensure you use a chopping board so as to avoid cutting yourself with a knife. And don't mind the way I'm slicing it here. I did it so you could see clearly how thin the ginger should be made. Okay, so let's rush this step through and finish slicing all the ginger. The next step now is drying, and there are different techniques of drying that use different equipment, but here we'll not be using any equipment. So to ensure an efficient and fast drying, you need to spread the sliced roots on a clean and dry plate, preferably a tray like I used here. But before spreading it, I took the weight of the sliced ginger so I can compare it with the weight of the powder when it's ready. And the current weight here is 148.3 grams. Now it's important to spread out the ginger slices so that they can have enough space to dry evenly. This will ensure that the ginger dries uniformly, resulting in a high quality ginger powder. Now you have 2 options for drying it. You could actually place it in a spot where the sun shines directly on it. And that could be outside in your compound or a spot inside where the sun enters through. The second option is you could simply place it in a dry place with a good ventilation, such as beside a window. Using a place with good ventilation is important to prevent the ginger from getting covered with mold. and that would also promote even drying. In my case here, I placed it directly beside the window, but I've also placed some previous batches a little far away from the window, and the major difference is in the hours it took to dry. So this is me checking on it after about 20 hours. And you can see how much it has changed. Although it's not yet dry enough, but you can see that the size is reducing and it's somehow shrinking. But you can see the bigger ones here. They haven't really dried as much as the ones that are flatter, which means some of them will dry faster than the other. So to avoid this, you should try to achieve a more consistent size when slicing. Also, at this point, you can begin to stir it or turn the slices around to allow it to dry faster. As it is now, I'll mix the two together in one tray and spread them apart. Then we can leave it to further dry out. Now, this is 2 days after. That is, about 48 hours have passed since we spread the ginger on the tray. And now it is dry enough. You can determine if it's dry enough from the texture of the slices in your hand. There should be relatively no moisture left in it. It should be brittle and easy to break when you apply a little pressure. If you can still feel moisture when you touch it, or it doesn't break easily, then you have to leave it to further dry out. But if it's dry enough, then we can continue to the next step, which is grinding. Now, there are several ways of grinding as well, and you can work with whatever is readily available to you. For me, I'll be using a simple domestic electric blender, and I'll be using the grinder attachment. But you could also use a mortar and pestle if that's what's available to you. Just that will take more time to achieve a finely ground powder, and it will take a lot of physical energy. But if you're using a grinder like me, do not fill it up with a dry ginger. Simply place an average amount of it into the grinder and grind it till it turns into powder. You can pause the grinding to check if it's ground enough. If not, keep grinding. Then we'll go to the next step, which is sifting. This is done to separate and collect any larger pieces that did not grind well. So here you need a sieve and a bowl where the sieved powder will drop into. Once you are done grinding all the slices, you can transfer the particles back into the grinder and give it another spin. That way you can extract more powder from it. And that's the final process. All that's left now is to store it appropriately. And before doing that, let's determine the weight of the powder. The weight of the powder now is 20.3 grams. And comparing it to the initial weight of 148.3 grams, it means that about 128 grams of weight was lost in form of moisture. And the powder now has a concentrated form of all the important compounds in the fresh ginger roots. So make sure you transfer the powder into an airtight container and store it in a cool and dry place. That way, it can last for up to 6 months and you'll be able to enjoy cooking with your ginger without having to peel all the time. So, as a way of summarizing, here are some mistakes you should avoid when making ginger powder at home. 1. Do not use old and spoiled ginger roots, as this may result in poor quality ginger powder with reduced flavor and aroma. 2. Do not slice the ginger too thickly. Slicing the ginger too thickly will result in an uneven drying and may also lead to growth of mold. 3. Do not grind the ginger that hasn't dried completely. Failing to dry the ginger completely before grinding will result in clumpy ginger powder that won't store well and won't last long. 4. Do not over-dry the ginger. Over-drying the ginger can result in loss of flavor and aroma, so it's important to check the ginger regularly during the drying process and grind it once it is completely dry and brittle. 5. Do not store the powder in a damp place. This is to prevent the powder from clumping and spoilage. By avoiding all these mistakes, you can produce high-quality ginger powder at home that will retain its beneficial compounds and delicious flavor. And if you also cook with garlic, you should avoid the cooking mistakes that prevent you from enjoying the health benefits. To know what those mistakes are, watch our video using the link above or find the link in the description below. And there you have it. A simple and easy way to make ginger powder at home without using a dehydrator, oven or air fryer. If you have any questions, contributions or suggestions of topics we should treat, let us know in the comment section below. Thanks for watching this video till the end. Kindly drop a like for us so we'll be motivated to do more. Also, kindly subscribe now to our channel and turn on the notification bell so you'll be notified every time we drop a new video. And watch any of the 2 videos here to learn more about how the foods you eat can help you become healthier.